I'm Carrie Patrick, your host for Eye on St. Lucie. As we kick off this new year, St. Lucie Public Schools has a lot to celebrate. The district proudly serves its students as the highest ranking district on the Treasure Coast and number 5 in the state of Florida with a graduation rate of 90.1%. As a B-rated district in the top third of Florida's district, there are no failing schools. And the academic growth of our students over the last few years has been historic. And we continue to support our students' academic needs. We also know how important it is to support the health and the well-being of our students. So that's why St. Lucie Public Schools has partnered with Healthy Schools, the nation's largest school vaccine provider, to offer flu shots to students at no cost during the school day. In this episode of Eye on St. Lucie, meet your Healthy Schools partner and find out how you can sign up for no-cost, in-school flu shots for your students this school year. Well, it's back to school time, and there's a lot of excitement in the air as parents are helping to get their children ready with back to school supplies, back to school shopping, and a lot of questions in regard to, what is it that I need? I know that Kim, you've been instrumental in making certain that we get our not our flu shots, but our vaccines and everything else with student services. And Paula, you're here today because we've got something special that we're going to be sharing with all of our parents and community members because we are so very in tune to making sure that we address the needs of the whole child. So this is a show, the Eye on St. Lucie, that kick off for the new year, and I'm so glad to have you both here. Paula Orezi, Kim Pennington, let's take just a moment and share really what it is your role is with your organization and how you are instrumental in helping us to kick this year off in a very positive way. Paula?
Well, thank you, Carrie, for having me. Like Carrie mentioned, I'm the community manager for Healthy Schools. And my main role is simply to raise awareness in the community about the Healthy School flu vaccination program. So the way that we do that is through various community-based organizations and events, and also through our partnership with the St. Lucie Public Schools.
Fantastic. And you and Kim have a history together, working together over the years.
Yes, over the years.
Yes.
Long partnership.
Right. Yes, we've been using Healthy Schools for our flu shots for students and staff for about 5 years now.
Yes, about 5 years, yep.
So 5-year partnership. And as we work with all of our schools within the district to make sure that all students are taken care of, as we move through the year and the flu season approaches, that can be a challenge for many of our families. So why is it so important that this partnership has grown, especially knowing our experiences over the past few years?
Well, as part of the school health program, our goal is to keep students healthy and in school and ready to learn. And so one of the things we, of course, teach children is how to do proper hand washing and covering their cough and covering their sneezes. That works on a lot of things like the common cold. However, with the flu, that might not be as effective as it can be.
Right.
And so adding in that extra layer of protection and offering the flu shots or the flu vaccine to the students has really increased the safety of the children.
And you mentioned how important it is that our students are healthy and in school. And we also run a campaign called Attendance Matters because we want to see our children every day. And certainly if they're not well, they need to stay home so that we don't spread anything. But as we look at the opportunities that are going to be available to all of our families, for all of our students this year, what are the benefits to the flu vaccination and the opportunities that we're providing parents this year?
Well, the main opportunity here is that we want to get a head start in getting prepared for the upcoming flu season. Given the past flu season, how terrible it was, we really want to equip parents right away So offering the easy online sign up and then also having the paper consent form available as well during the back to school. There are easy ways to take advantage of this opportunity. Also, the parents really are going to be getting a head start right away because back to school is happening. And so the CDC recommends a yearly vaccination for people that are 6 months and older. So we are really trying to take the actual stake right now to make an impact in the community, especially in the St. Lucie community as well. So we want to make sure that parents are equipped, and the online sign up is readily available right now. The consent form is going to be going home, and so all they have to do is just sign up.
Very good. And we're going to be mentioning where people can find this information and how it's rolling out. One of the things that I appreciate is the fact that you contacted us over the summer.
Yes.
And that's in preparation for all of the back to school information parents need to know.
Yes.
Because that's a time when everyone is keenly attentive to the needs of our students, and forms are being passed out, documents are being handed out. And sometimes that one-stop shopping kind of approach with back to schools and freshman orientations and things like that. Fantastic way to get that information in the hands of our parents. So what do parents and guardians need to know about the registration and the permission? Because that's an important piece in order for this to be something that we can actually follow through with on our campuses.
So the parents and guardians need to know there are two ways to sign up, right? So the online form, the stlucieflu.com is one way, and then of course providing consent through the paper consent form. That's going to be sent back to the child during the first week of school. So those are two opportunities that they can sign up. Also, parents need to know that the clinics will be starting in October. So October 16th through the 19th, we'll be running clinic dates, clinic times, I should say, and every school has a designated date and a time. So the quickest way to find out is by the parent simply going online and providing that opportunity to just have their child be consented to get the flu shot in the schools. And I just keep reminding parents it's at no cost. And so no cost to the parent or the school, a great opportunity for them to take advantage of it now. And then it's helping us to prepare for, for our team of nurses to come out, preparing the materials that we'll need for the clinic dates in the schools. And also, of course, I forget to say this, but it's conveniently located at the school. Parents do not have to worry about picking their child up. Missing classroom time in the schools are very important, especially the beginning of the school year. So we really want to make sure that we're making it very easy and breezy for all the parents to sign their child up.
And I know that Kim is instrumental in scheduling this to make sure that every school has the opportunity. And that's provided to the staff as well. Over the past few years, I've taken advantage of it on the school sites. And you're right, the convenience and ease of access is tremendous because it's not one more thing that you have to worry about in your schedule.
Right.
And individuals there are very professional and qualified to do this, so it is a fantastic opportunity. And I just mentioned that individuals are qualified.
Yes.
So let's set our audience at ease too, because some people are wondering, well, who is going to be administering this to my child? Because they may say that they only want their family physician to do this, but it's perfectly safe. So give us the who will be administering.
And that's a great question. I know that there are great concerns, especially in a school setting. You want to know who's going to be administering such an important vaccination. So all of our nurses at Healthy Schools are level 2 background checked, and they're all trained, highly trained and qualified to work with children. So they have the bandwidth and the personality to handle that flu vaccination. That's just going to happen in like 1 minute, right? So being prepared and training them well in advance before the flu clinic dates happening that's what we do as a company. We get to train them and make sure that they're ready for that day that they're going to administer the flu vaccination.
And Kim, you work with all of our health paraprofessionals at the school sites, and a lot of parents may be chatting with our school-based health paraprofessionals. What is their involvement?
Their involvement mainly is the paperwork, getting the consent forms in. In the past, we've kept the consent forms at the school. This year, we're trying something new and sending them directly to the company ahead of time. Because like Paula said, it definitely is an advantage to their teams if they know exactly how many, or pretty much exactly how many students are going to take advantage of it, so they know how much vaccine to bring, how many nurses to send, and that type of thing. So mainly it's just the coordination. at the school site of, like getting the room ready, making sure the teachers know when to send the children down,
Right.
and getting the paperwork set up.
Yeah. And there's a lot of communication and coordination involved in that. And over the years, it's like you all mentioned, we've refined this, and we
Right.
continue to find ways in order to be better at what we do. In fact, one of the superintendent's comments at some of our back to school activities, he said, what is the biggest room? Can anyone say what the biggest room is? And of course, that is room for improvement. And as we've marched through the years, you all have certainly done a fantastic job of making sure that we're meeting our parents' needs in multiple languages and multiple venues. So that online sign up this year, tremendous. Still access that face-to-face Q&A that may need to take place at the school sites. Our site-based paraprofessionals are fantastic for that. Or I know both of your phone numbers were published on our TV screen as we started this. So there's always an opportunity. If you have a question, you're uncertain, let's get the information beforehand. And when we looked at what we needed to do for back to school, we set up a communication plan. So if our viewing audience, has access to technology, that push is going to be out there on our social media platforms and websites. It's going to be in the hands of our parents through newsletters. Kim, what else are we doing to push this information out so that we make sure that all communication is fluid, on target, and we try to leave no stone unturned?
Right.
Well, the paper consent forms going home, I think, is a good reminder to parents. Here's the consent form. Sign it, send it back as soon as you can, get it in so that, again, we can know how many students are going to take advantage of the opportunity.
And to chime into that, like you were saying, Kim, is that it's very important for within the first 2 weeks to have the consent form completed, right? So that we're well aware of the materials that we'll need and basically preparing our team of nurses to be present for the day of vaccination. So we encourage all the parents to thoroughly complete that consent form and return it back to their school within the first 10 to 14 days of school beginning.
And just to piggyback on that, since you said thoroughly, very important for the parent to thoroughly fill that out and to sign it, because we always end up every year with a student who has to be turned away and not receive the vaccine, even though the parent wanted them to receive it, because something on the form was not completed, like the signature was missing, or key information about the child that it's asking for. So make sure that that is completely filled out and signed, because otherwise, without that consent complete, we cannot administer it.
It's a very good point to make. I mean, so many of us get caught up in, let's fill this out, let's hurry up, let's get it done, and we are very, very busy. I mean, that's really the norm for so many of our families and ourselves as well. And but with this, keen attention to detail is very important. We're looking at the health and well-being of children. And so good point to make. Make sure it's signed and filled out completely. So what if a parent is seeing this show and perhaps they've never seen a form come home? Sometimes things get lost in book bags, in the paper shuffle. Where did that go? What can they do to gain access?
Well, this year, since it's going to be available online, that's going to be the big advantage, because that's not been available in the past. So luckily, that's another way for them to get that form and to get it filled out.
All right, and so we will have this posted on our St. Lucie Public School homepage as a quick link under announcements. So any individual watching that may need to access this information, www.stlucieschools.org, and on the homepage under announcements, it'll be just a quick link to access this information. Of course, also following us on our Facebook and our Twitter pages, and viewing this on YouTube, because you all will be famous pretty soon.
We'll be trending.
We'll be trending. All right. So we've talked a lot about taking advantage of this, but then we also know there are some students that, based on whatever need or concern there is, will not be taking advantage of this. So let's address that, because this is not a mandatory vaccination by any means. It's an opportunity that's a convenience for our families. So what if someone chooses not to participate? What's going to happen?
Nothing will happen. They only the students with a signed consent form will go down to the vaccine administration area and receive the vaccine. So parents who choose not to have their child vaccinated, that's perfectly fine. And just a reminder to parents that they can also use their pediatrician or the other various clinics in town or whatever to get those vaccines as well. A lot of the pediatricians run out of the vaccine. We've found that in the past where the parent wants to get it maybe after we've had our clinics at the schools. And then the pediatrician says that they're out because sometimes there ends up being a shortage of the vaccine. So just I would recommend that if a parent is wanting to get that, to get the appointment quickly and with their pediatrician or their clinic, or go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity at school. And not hesitate and not wait too long before it's too late.
Yeah, because the mission is to provide the opportunity for every child. And so it'd be up to the parent if they want to take advantage of the opportunity, whether it be through Healthy Schools flu vaccination program or via their pediatrician. Either way, we really want to just make sure we're protecting the community because we know that absenteeism is very important in the schools, and we want to not disrupt that for the upcoming school year, given the past flu season.
And you mentioned something that's important, the convenience factor, and we don't want to take children away from their academics. And my experience over the last few years, this has been such a nice, fluid, easy process on the school sites. It's organized so well. Classes go down with those who have already signed up, and it's a very quick and easy process. And I might say it's painless as well. I don't think I've seen tears shed at all in my experience here. But with that being said, too, our health paraprofessionals, like you said, they're trained to work with children. And so very caring individuals who are working with this to make sure that it is a nice, easy process and no one is, scared or concerned. And if there is a little timidness there, they're trained to handle that as well.
Well, and to that point as well, as I've sat in various flu clinics and just seeing how the caringness coming out through nurses, and they're being able to change their voices and say, it's okay, 1, 2, 3, and count with the child. And, just to see that level of care and attention should be able to give the parents a little more like, okay, I don't have to be there and sit next to baby Johnny while he gets the flu shot. And like you were saying, it's painless.
All right. And one thing I also wanted to ask, let's say my child has signed up for the flu shot, but on the day that his school and class is scheduled, perhaps he's absent. Is there an opportunity for makeup, or is that when I go see my pediatrician and other resources?
Yes, because of the way the company continues to go to other counties, we're not the only county they serve. There's usually not another second opportunity. So the parent would then need to schedule an appointment with their pediatrician or a clinic.
All right, so there we go. That's just always good to have a plan B.
And if the child is ill that day, they cannot get the vaccine also. So if the child sits down with the nurse and answers a few questions and says they're not feeling that well, very well that day, or they're coughing a lot, the vaccine will not be administered then either. And in those cases, the parent receives a written statement that says the child was not vaccinated and why, so that the parent's aware that they did not receive it.
And that's another good thing is that the nurses are there to pre-screen, just to make sure, A, that the form is completely thoroughly filled out, and that just visibly looking at the child and asking questions that may prohibit them from not being able to take it, whether it's just because they're probably sick or probably intimidated or scared. So there is a pre-screening process that takes place well before the flu vaccination is administered.
That's very important information to know, and again, another comfort to our parents and guardians who are, have their child as their number one concern, which is the way it should be.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to just go over a few major points that we've covered, just to make sure that everything is clear for our viewing audience. And if there's something that we need to elaborate on, just like you did there, this is the time to do it because. Let's get all that information out there right now. So this is for all of our students in St. Lucie Public Schools.
Correct.
VPK through 12th grade. We have some of our VPK students, and those are our 4-year-olds. And
Yes.
this is perfectly safe for them as well, because as you
Yes.
said, 6 months and older
Yes.
is what the
CDC recommends yearly vaccinations, correct?
Right. And the flu vaccinations are provided at no cost. So parents don't need to worry about receiving any type of a bill after this.
Yeah, we think you promised that.
Pinky promise, okay. And it is administered on our school sites, so you don't have to worry about going to a central location. And flu shots, this is, I think, something you may want to elaborate on. Flu shots cannot cause the flu, as the shot does not contain a virus. I know there are a lot of myths out there about flu vaccine, and that is something very important. Did you have anything else to share on that, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
Well, it is self-explanatory, but also just know we want parents to know that our flu shots are antibiotic-free, and also we do not have harmful chemicals that are in there as well. So that just shows you the level of safetiness to the flu vaccination. So I don't know, Kim, if you want to add more to that.
Yeah, just that, you know, the flu shot does not contain the live vaccine, so therefore the child cannot get the flu from the vaccine.
Right.
That's always been, like you said, the myth behind that. Sometimes your body, when it's making the antibodies, because that's what a vaccine does, it makes your body make the antibody against the disease that you're going to be fighting. So when your body is making those antibodies against the flu, you might get a little bit achy, or maybe even a slight low-grade fever, because that's your body ramping up and preparing to fight if the flu virus does enter your body. And so sometimes when you receive the vaccine and then you get some of those symptoms, you automatically think, oh my gosh, I've gotten the flu from the shot. But really, it's just your body ramping up its defense against the virus. And that happens with many vaccinations, not just the flu vaccine.
That's, and again, great information.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was going to have a science lesson today.
I'm learning a lot.
All right. And then too, you know, along with this, we've said several times that the flu vaccine is the #1 defense against the flu, and that is according to our CDC. And they too will be running information a little bit later in flu season, you know, about how important it is to do this and the safety of it as well. But we're just trying to get a little jump start.
Yes.
We're all saying the same thing. The message is consistent, and it is very, very important that our community is aware.
Right.
Flu shots do protect against 4 different strains of the flu. That's something that we also hear. Oh, why do I get a flu shot? There's so many strains out there. But this does protect against 4 different strains, and those are the most common that we are anticipating. Is that correct? All right, so can feel confident in that.
Yes.
And you've already mentioned that these flu shots do not contain chemicals. So that's very important for our families to know. They are antibiotic free.
Right.
Anything else that you feel that we need to share as far as those bullet points, things that we've covered?
I can't think of anything. I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah,
You all are very thorough.
Yes.
All right. And the forms are being sent home this year as early as open house night. Now, some schools may have another method of sending that out. It may go home in the first few days of school. So parents, guardians don't need to be concerned if they don't get it on that very first open house experience. They will be going home. Check your child's backpack, ask your child, look at all of those back to school papers, and don't let it get lost in the shuffle. But if indeed you don't have the paper copy, there's always a backup, and that is
signing up online. There you go. stlucieflu.com.
All right. So Kim, let's see. I'm going to quiz you. And where would a parent find that on our homepage?
Under announcements?
Yes. Okay, you get your gold star for today. All right. So this is a very, very convenient way to protect against the flu, and it is being offered at no cost. And you know, this partnership is wonderful. It is thriving. It's very important that we continue working with our community partners because you know, we see so many of our children for an extended period of time during the school year. And while we're so concerned about making sure that they are successful academically, we know that there has to be a healthy body and mind in order for them to be the very best they can be. So as
Correct.
we prepare to close for today, do you have any closing remarks or additional points that you would like to share with our viewing audience?
Well, I definitely want to encourage all the parents and guardians to take advantage of the opportunity. Like we were mentioning thoroughly throughout the show, is that there's a variety of ways to, of course, get the flu vaccination. But who doesn't want to take advantage of an opportunity that's in school, no cost? A parent doesn't have to take the child out of the school and disrupt the class time. So we really want to make sure that everyone's taking advantage of it, especially now. The link is open, registration is open, so you don't have to wait last minute, or you can wait simply to fill out the consent form that's going to be returned to each child during the first week of school. So the goal is make sure, parents, if you want to put it on your calendar, August 29th is the deadline to register paper form, and of course the registration online is open up till I believe 3 days before the clinic start date, so there's a variety of opportunity for the ones that are struggling along. But we're hoping that's not going to happen because, again, the goal and the mission is to protect the community, especially the upcoming school year and the upcoming flu season. So we really want to be extra prepared. So parents, it's out there for you, so it's up to you to make that move for your child.
And I think, as we all know, while chicken soup is a very good
they're good.
nutritional meal, I would much rather be enjoying it in a healthy way instead of
Exactly.
having someone feed me chicken soup because I'm in bed and not feeling well at all.
Exactly.
And you mentioned the deadline is August the 29th to have this paper filled in, but
Right.
the flu shots start taking place in October.
Right.
Some people may think, oh, that sounds like a quite a distance away. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, it goes fast. We're in August already.
Yeah. So we're in that mode of let's not let any grass grow under our feet and get
Right.
this done. And if they have questions, certainly our site-based paraprofessionals in the clinic are a wealth of information.
Right.
We'll have contact information on some of our social media posts.
Perfect.
And some other places where people can say, you know what, I'm just not sure about this. I really need to speak with someone to help me understand more.
Right.
And certainly we're available for that.
And we encourage that. If you have questions, when in doubt, always ask, call, and get your answers, or get your questions answered, basically, because that is your child's health. And we want to make sure, again, that you're getting all the information before consenting to receive this flu vaccination.
Kim, anything?
No, that's it.
I do appreciate both of you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Paula from
Thank
Healthy
you.
Schools and
Right.
Kim from our own Student Services team do so much to help our schools. And
Right.
again, it is about the whole child.
Right.
St. Lucie Public Schools has been making tremendous progress, and we want the very best for our children from the tips of their toes to the top of their head so that they can be the very best they can be. Thank
Exactly.
you both for being here with us
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, I'm Carrie Patrick, and this is WLX-TV. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. That's all for today's show, but we invite you to follow us, to like us, and to watch us on our social media outlets. And as always, keep your eye on St. Lucie.